Alright guys, now we are coming to almost the last draft. This will be the last draft of the year. The Super Draft is in January. This is the Reentry Draft, and I'll get into that in just a second. But I had a bid for Sebastian Anderson. Now, I signed this kid as a free agent. I really don't want to get rid of him. He can play up and down the right side for the most part. He's a fairly decent player. He is a squad player right now on a senior minimum salary contract, I do believe. Nope, he's on a senior contract. Anyway, I had a pretty good bid for him, honestly. And if he would be older, I would have snatched this bid up in a heartbeat because they're offering me a first round. Granted, it's not until 2025, but here's the thing. In the MLS, you always want to plan for the future. Once you get your team registered March 4th, you should start planning on what players you want to have here next year, because in the MLS, unlike any other league, you have to plan for at least 6 to 7 players leaving, or at least that's how many you should make leave every year. Once again, because they get older, they want more money, contracts expiring. You might not plan on getting rid of a player and you get such a tremendous bid for him that you go ahead and get rid of him. So kind of like what happened with Klaus. You know, I would have been happy to keep him, but I had a bid I couldn't turn down, so I took it. Plus, I wanted to cut his payroll anyway. But this one is not, it's not a bad bid. I don't want to part with this kid. Not yet. He's only 20. He's going to get better, going to be worth more money, and I'm not going to get rid of him. So I'm just going to go ahead and reject it. Now, I do want to get rid of Yar, because while I wanted to keep him, I kept him on my main team, and I wish I would have got rid of him because he declined really, really quickly, and I actually had to move him to my B team. Now, this is pretty much your typical trade bid assets, what you're going to get when you offer players out like this. Joshua Yarl. When you offer players out, there's an amount, and I'll show you how to do that later. But anyhow, long story short, nobody wanted him, so I offered it out for the least amount that I could, and I got this back. And I was thinking about it, but it's only for 1 year. But then I got this bid the next day. They're offering me an international player slot for 2 years. 2 years. So I'm going to go ahead and go view offer for Charlotte, and I'm going to say, hey, make it 2 years. And they're going to reject it, withdrawn, which is pretty much what happened. I have no choice now but to, yep. Okay, this is the one I want. It is for 2 years, and I'm not going to play with it. Once again, when you get incoming bids like that, very rarely will they let you add to it, especially since I don't have allocation money. If I had allocation money, they might be more willing to go up or with me, but I don't, not until January. So 2 years is a heck of a deal. I'm taking that one. All right, now it jumps me right into the reentry draft. But before that, I wanted to show you, and I covered this in one of my tutorials. It tells you who's eligible. Now, bear in mind, these rules are always changing. Matter of fact, it's changed a little bit since a few months ago. It's really crazy. But it tells you who's eligible for and why. So just to let you know. And once again, this draft, in my main save, they had Mendez in there, who's an awesome central midfielder. He's not here in this draft. So that's what I'm saying. It's just hit or miss on what players are going to be there. I have scouted the draft already. Well, not scouted the players, but I scouted the draft on who I want. There's 2 that I'm really thinking about. This kid here doesn't look to be too bad. He'd be a pretty decent backup striker, and I am kind of hurting in that department now that Klaus has left. But nobody wants him. So I'm going to try to play it wild and crazy here, and this is the other guy that I want. Now, he is 29, so I'm kind of debating whether or not to go for him, but I desperately need some backup in that left field, oh my God, baseball, in that left back row, because the guy that I have playing it now just isn't really, you see what I'm saying? So I don't know. So that's why I figured I would draft him. Normally in a reentry draft, I don't take, if I'm lucky, 1 person. Usually I don't, but I'm going to take 2 this time. And Mikey Ambrose, since he's wanted, if I don't draft him, these guys are going to take him. So I'm going to go ahead and get him because nobody wants him, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to draft Mikey Ambrose. Now, once again, their contracts are expiring, so I'm going to have to offer him a new contract, but that's okay. And as you can see, nobody else picked because none of these other players are wanted. Like when I had Mendez, Every team wanted him, except for the team that he didn't sign, that released him or not released him, but they just didn't extend his contract. So it was crazy. 28 teams wanted him. So I took him. It was great. But I'm going to go ahead and get this kid. Now here's the thing. You have 3 rounds on this first stage. Then they come back with another stage a few days from now with the players that weren't taken, and you get 3 rounds into. And I don't want them. They're too old. But I do want this kid. So I'm going to take him, and I'm going to go ahead and get him now, and then I'm just going to skip to my next pick, and I'm going to pass, and I am done, and I'm going to complete the draft. And that's pretty much it. The reentry draft is the smallest one out of all of them. That's just, it's always like that. All right, I do want that. Yarrow can go away. And if you watched the part that I talked about bids with Klaus, it was a good deal. It really was. But, of course, my board is not happy with it. They're never happy. But you know what? You got to do what you can do for your team. All right, there we go. Not that bad. It really wasn't. All right, we're just going to skip through this as quick as we can unless I have another bid come in. Once again, that was stage 1. And remember, in the MLS, players sign the contracts with the league to play for the club. So the league owns all their rights. That's how when trades work, the players, they don't have any choice in the matter. I think I'll be okay at left back. There is a foreign player that I really, really want. There we go. Remember how he was $550,000 on a contract, and now he's not. He's $199, so that's good. All right, I'll have to check this out. I'm not too worried about that right at the moment. And I didn't even set up training. I'm just trying to hurry up and get here. So I can show you, and we'll get done with it. Oh, come on. Here we go. All right. Now, it should be the same players. It should be, but usually it's not. Yeah, it's exactly the same. And I don't want any of these. Nothing here looks good to me, so I'm just going to pass. Complete draft. And nobody took anybody. If they would have, we're going to take them. Oh, New England did. Whoa, that in Vancouver. Wow, that's crazy. I never seen that happen, but hey. Anyhow, that's pretty much what happens, and that's the end of the draft. Now I have to sign these 2 players to contracts because it expires at the end of the year, and I will be back January 1st to show you a few other things. All right, guys. I wanted to before we got into the super draft, I wanted to go over this. This is what happens at the beginning of January each year. It gives you a bunch of information that you need to pay attention to. Not so much this one. It tells you the salary cap increase. Last year it was 4.9. Next year it's going to go up again. And it just tells you everything and all the salaries. If you notice, the salaries have gone up too this year. Last year it was $650,250, so it went up, a few hundred. So keep that in mind. And then it tells you any players that I still hold the rights to. Right now, the only person that I hold rights to is Higham. He's not very good. That's why I didn't sign him. He was from my youth academy. He ended up, I didn't sign him because he was 18. He had to leave the academy, but I just didn't think he was worth it. 3-star max potential. That I know a lot of people say things about the gray stars. Personally, 3 stars is pretty much where he's going to be at to me. It covers this one here, the under 22, and I signed this kid to a contract, the under 22 contract, on purpose because I'm going to re-sign him to a senior contract, but I wanted to show you guys later in another video why not to do that. All right, general allocation money. This is what it's about. We get more than what we're supposed to because we are an expansion team. And this is our targeted allocation money. And then this one. This is a pain in the butt. I didn't sign Berkey and I didn't sign Nielsen, and I had to spend money that I didn't want to spend on them because I couldn't get rid of Berkey, and I don't want to get rid of Nielsen yet. But basically, all of my allocation money has been reduced because of these players. Last year, if you remember, I talked about how the league doesn't officially start for us until January. All them players were still getting paid. There was no salary cap, so that's why they had to do that. Now, next year, once again, they won't use any of this unless I'm over. But this one here will play in effect at the beginning of each year for players that I signed this coming year. So in January 2024, this number will go up, or go down. It would change depending on what players I signed throughout the year. And for the different reasons you're allowed to use target allocation money. And then there's this one here. I've talked about all of this. And yes, I do want to use this. We will not have to buy it for a young DP, but right now I don't have a young DP, but when I get it, I'll get that money back. So yeah, I do want it. All right. Here's a mock draft. I remember I have 3 first-round draft picks, spot 1 and 2, which is awesome. Now, I'm going to flaunt my number 1 pick and see if I get any hits. And my mainstay, I had a first pick, and I had a 6th pick, and I had like a 21st pick. So if I could get rid of that one and get like the 3rd and like maybe a 20th or something, then I'll do that. Then I get do different things like that. But anyhow, here's what they expect me to do. Just your typical stuff. And then now the start of the transfer window and the start of the loan window. And now the fun really begins, and the Super Draft is 10 days away. But I wanted to show you basically this here. This is the problem because I had $3 million of allocation money, and now I don't. I have $1,394,000. It is what it is. Now, when I hit continue, this will go down too on the amount that I used, but I wanted you to understand that. And right now it says I have $416,000 of cap room, which I don't understand that one at the moment because I haven't bought anybody down yet. That's why. Nielsen and all of them, that's my cap impact of $651,000. I can buy them down, but I'm not going to get into that right now. It's a pain. I really want to get rid of Berkey. I don't really want to get rid of Nielsen though, but if I can find another midfielder, I might. I don't know yet. It is what it is. But this is my tutorial video, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But anyway, this is very important, and this is what you need to pay attention to. So anyway, stay tuned, and I'll be right back with the Super Draft.